I would hear the phone call at the break of dawn that day to my friend's mother, filling my ears with wails of disbelief that her son's life had been taken by his own will. I was in Brett's bedroom, lights off, with the light blue hue penetrating through the white curtains. I reminisced about the old days we experienced together, looking through our shared photo album one last time before it went in the casket. My sentiments had gotten the best of me that morning. My vision blurred from the uncontrollable waterfall of tears that kept streaming down my cheeks. I wept alongside the gloomy downpour that occurred. Cut side. The thuds of rain represented the sounds of my intensifying heartbeat. The lightning and thunder represented the rage I was going use against what ruined my life. The door creaked open. I perked my head up to the black silhouette of a tall figure standing between the doorway. I must have been hallucinating. It watched me without movement as I took a moment to regain composure. I wiped away the tears with a single finger, squinched my eyes to receive a better view, but it had already vanished. I turned my attention to the photo album. I intended to close it, but out came flying a disturbing handwritten note that had startled me instead. It was written with large amounts of pressure applied from a black pen, the one who lurks behind these walls. The note read, "Ding." I flinched again. A message from Brett's mother. "The viewing is about to begin, my dear. Whenever you're ready, please come downstairs to bid your farewell." I looked back up to the doorway. The figure had appeared through the doorway again. Its orange glare was visible this time. Glowing from the darkness, it pierced my soul, burning me internally as if it had entered me. Its smile abnormally widened across its face. I was paralyzed in fear. I had lost control over my body, but it left me alone after I had blinked. It was only for a moment, but the moment had felt as if I were in hell. I don't know how I was able in that moment. I felt like crap, but kept going. I placed my phone down on the bed, made my way to the doorway until the note before me had caught my attention. This time, it had the stains of red streaks across, the ones who drove me to my demise. I read to myself, then manic laughs from downstairs echoed. Chills ran down my spine. I looked toward the dark hallway leading to the downstairs flue. I inhaled, walked across the creaking floor, and saw the shadows of flickering candles reflecting the walls. Before I could reach the end of the hallway, an arm extended out from a nearby closet to pull me in. I struggled to escape the clutched arm that wrapped around my neck. I tried screaming, but the hand that covered my mouth prohibited me from letting out. Shh, shh, shh. The sounds of shushing embedded my right ear. I looked back to catch a glimpse of my attacker, but was faced with that of Brett's. Enough light poured in to be able to expose his bruised face with the frequent signs of burns. His gray shirt slashed that included stains of blood. I froze in bewilderment. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. "You don't have much time," he whispered weakly, letting his hand off my mouth. I pulled away, but his arm never let go. His hand fumbled down at his waist, disengaging the holster. "It was all a lie, brother," he groaned in my ear. Then, he brought the Glock 19 up to my sight. I hesitated. The rush of emotions overcame my senses, but I held it in. He was in agony, but had used all his effort to hold it up for me. I understood the assignment. I took responsibility. He let his arm fall down over my chest. He began to sniffle, sob quietly before giving in. He placed his head down on my shoulder while I managed to uphold a dauntless stance. He clenched a hand to the sleeve of my shirt, tightened his arm's grip around my chest. I reciprocated. I grasped his arm tightly, knowing his departure was soon to come. "I love you, brother." Upon hearing, a tear had escaped my body. I squint my eyes shut. I felt cold, though the feeling of great assurance began to fall over me in the matter of seconds. I opened my eyes to see that I was standing over the stairway, with the Glock 19 pressing against my cheeks. I was freed from my beloved friend's grasp. He was freed from his suffering. I must have been traumatized enough to have been playing my own mind tricks. I sauntered to the downstairs floor. I cocked the gun with great fortitude. I was standing before what ruined his life. Then, it clicked. My friend hadn't really taken his own life. Then it clicked again. Abuse was a frequent dosage to his life. It clicked again. Then again and again. I kept clicking. The cries of horror harmonized the rings of shots. That was only my first victim of vengeance. A widening grin spread ear to ear. I was satisfied but was hurting. The abnormal smile hurt. I stood in front of the bed that was entwined with restraints. I was strapped down soon enough. I began to wonder, I learned that vengeance does no good to reputation of the offender. It only worsens the severity of the outcome. The irony to avenge for someone's life by taking another is ridiculous to me. But what baffles me further is the act of taking the life of someone who took another's life for avenging the life of another. I felt the needle shoot its dosage into my body. I felt at ease, but my body instantly stiffened. The burning sensation spread across my body the same way I felt that day. I kept my eyes shut, hoping that it would all end. I opened my eyes for my final scene of life, but what I saw staring back was the wide grinning of Brett himself. I had been used as a doll for a dead man's vengeance. At 14, lived alone with my sister while my parents lived in Cabo. My family is Canadian. We'd vacation in Cabo and my parents moved there in 2001, so I grew up there. However, when I turned 13-ish, I was itching to go to a real Canadian high school like I saw on the Disney Channel. Parents didn't want to leave Cabo, so they sent me back to Canada to live with my sister who was 16. We had a family friend live with us, so it was legal, but we were basically given full trust to live alone. I woke up to a man who entered our house and entered my bedroom and shut my bedroom door and was kneeling beside me watching me sleep. I don't know how I woke up, but I did and immediately noticed him as he was right beside my face kneeling and started panicking. It was dark, but I knew it was a man. I kept saying, oh my God, over and over and inching towards the wall since my bed was pushed into the corner of my room. The guy slowly backed up and left and quietly muttered, "Team, one of your sister's friends." Later found out this was obviously not true. I texted my sister on my pink Razr phone and said, "Why are your creepy friends watching me sleep?" I waited 1 minute watching the clock before I went to her room, which was beside mine. I wanted to make sure he was gone. I stormed into her room asking her why her creepy friends are watching me sleep, and she didn't know what I was talking about. I explained what happened and she starts panicking. We alert our family friend, and as we're gathered in the kitchen, we see him around the windows of our kitchen. He stayed lurking around the house and pressing his face into the window, and we were screaming we'd call the cops, so we eventually did. They brought search dogs, but they lost his scent pretty quickly, so I guess he got into a car. I was in grade 9, and for the rest of the year living in that house, he would come back. Eld be in my room at night brushing my hair, and he'd be outside my window, and when Eld noticed him, he'd run away. I'd be followed and smiled at a little too closely by men on the sidewalk when Eld walk home from school. Close your blinds if you are a woman living alone. I guess the guy caught on to the fact I was 14, sister was 16, no adults around, lived in a corner house, and always had blinds open, so especially at night it was super easy to see inside. I probably wore little clothes too, because I always now cover up since that night. Peeping Tom or stalker or something. Never figured out who it was. Thanks for listening. If you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I will be happy if you indicate your comments. See you in my other podcast videos. Have a good day. Have a nice weekend. Thank you.